Sure thing.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to the breakfast today. Today we are going to talk about real estate, one of my favorite things. Next month, we're going to be talking about making sure that you don't buy a house that has liens, encumbrances, or a contract for deed for it. I've had 4 houses that I bought that somebody had already previously sold on a contract for deed, and then I bought it with that person in place. One of which cost us $24,000 to prove that we weren't at fault, and our mortgage insurance only covered $10,000 of the $20-something thousand worth of stuff.
Wow.
We won 2 cases on that, but there's really no winners in court. So she's going to show us how we can avoid that next month. On April the 8th, I'm going to be doing another cash flow game night here in this place. So if you guys have never played cash flow, it's a great time. I love it. I borrowed $1 million with that game card in the game there. If you don't know how cash flow works or how an asset sheet works or anything like that, this is a great place to go and learn that. And anyway. All right, with that being said, I'm going to let you take it away. Why don't we start off with just telling us who you are?
Sure thing. My name's Alex Anderson. I am a local real estate investor. I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma. I moved to Oklahoma City about 3 years ago after graduating college. That's a super short biography. Please ask me questions about the rest.
What'd you do before you started real estate? Like, what kind of jobs have you had?
After college, I got a job as a financial analyst with a company called Northrop Grumman. They're an aerospace defense contractor. I worked there from graduation until November of this last year, and I was able to quit that job through real estate investing, thankfully.
Wow, very cool. Why real estate?
Real estate, it seemed like the most reliable path to get to financial freedom. You know, I was in college trying to figure out ways to not have to work my entire life until I'm 16 and then enjoy life once I retire. So I was just researching YouTube videos on how to get rich, and thankfully Robert Kiyosaki, his videos popped up, the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy. Watched a bunch of his YouTube videos, and then from there the algorithm sent me to Bigger Pockets, that podcast, and I would go and wash dishes at Little Caesars during the Christmas holidays and listen to hours of Bigger Pockets podcast. And from there, I was able to get enough reliable information to set a plan to get into real estate when I graduated college.
Bigger Pockets, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
We had audiobooks back when, actually audiobooks. I had to go to the library and go get audiobooks. So anyway.
I can't imagine that.
And there was no podcast. YouTube wasn't even a thing when I started. I had to literally go to the library and go listen to the entire Rich Dad seminar season things, download them to my MP3 player and go and listen to them. That's how old I am, which isn't that much older than you. It's amazing how those last few years.
I'm thankful to be in the information age where everything's available at my fingertips. Whereas I can't imagine running a business pre-internet, having to file things in folders. I have 1,000 documents that are in the Google Drive that I couldn't imagine trying to organize on paper. It'd be a nightmare, to say the least. Or having to send communication through mail. Man, I can't imagine how inefficient business was.
A landline.
Yeah. Right. Good point. But yeah, scary stuff.
Talking to your answer machine, and then you'd go home and then help listen to your messages, and then call them back, and then they wouldn't be there, so you leave a message on their answering machine, and then there'd be this back and forth over 2 or 3 days. Yeah. That was part of that era. I had a pager, guys. So let's.
I've never used a pager once in my life.
Wow, so I was highfalutin. I had a pager. All right, so I wanted to get into real estate. Started doing some stuff. Where did you start buying? Like, what was your buying criteria? Like, tell me about your first deal.
My first deal was my first house I bought. I bought it in 2021. Super, super busy time in real estate. I made 5 offers, asking price offers or over asking price offers, and I wouldn't get them because the market was so hot. And I happened to make an offer on a flip that David and Tao actually sold me.
Oh, yeah?
Small world, right? At the time, I didn't know them. This house in South Oklahoma City, off of Southeast 44th Street. Just a regular single-family house, nothing too fancy about it. But I bought that house for $135,000, and the mortgage payment was not $900 a month.
Okay.
And I house hacked it. So it's a 3-bedroom single family house. I don't have kids or a wife just yet. So I was able to rent out the extra bedrooms to my buddies. I charged them $400 a month per room, and the mortgage payment was $900 a month. So I was only paying $100 a month of my mortgage payment plus splitting utilities. So my overall bills was probably $200-300 a month. I lived pretty frugally, so it wasn't much. And then from there, I was able to save all of my income from my W-2 job and roll that back into real estate, and that really helped me scale my portfolio a lot quicker. Just having that extra income and cash basis.
Very cool, man. When did you buy? What was your second deal?
Just a deal off or on market in Lawton that a
Lawton.
realtor found me.
So this is where your love of Lawton started.
Yep. I picked Lawton initially just because I'm a lot more familiar with the neighborhoods. I had just moved to Oklahoma City, so
From Lawton?
uh, well, I was in Lawton, went to college in Norman, and then moved to Oklahoma City.
Okay, so you're from Lawton.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. I was
0
wondering
to
why you
18
bought out there.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
just knew the neighborhoods a lot better, and even my first house I bought was in a pretty rough area. I hadn't known because it's that area is nice compared to Lawton, right? I mean, comparatively, it didn't seem too bad, but yeah, I just had more connections and resources in Lawton, so I decided to start there, and I'm thankful I did.
Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't such a long drive and everything else, I looked at Lawton 3 or 4 or 5 times. I just didn't know that you're not supposed to buy in the J Street or the alphabet streets or whatever it is over there.
Yeah,
So we
for
had
sure.
one under
A lot
contract.
of headaches over there, and
Yeah. So anyway, knowing your neighborhood, that's very extremely important. So you bought that house, 2001. You bought your first house. That's
21.
21, and then 21.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. 21, and then when did you buy that second Lawton house?
I think January of 22, so 2
22.
months later.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
And then what was the numbers on that? Like, was it a 60, 80,000, $100,000
They were
house?
both $70,000 houses, rent ready, and they both rented for $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Mhm.
So
The mortgage payment
1.4.
back then was 4%. PITI was about $500 a month, so I was netting $400 or $500 a month. Rent minus PITI.
Wow, that's
So
nice.
yeah, not too bad.
That's really nice. And so you bought that one and then immediately bought 2 houses after that?
And then I bought my first house in September of 2021, the one I
Yep.
live in, and then another one in November of 21, the first rental, the second rental in January of 2022.
Okay. And then we've obviously scaled up. What are you at now on houses?
40.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's impressive.
And that's just through the Burr method: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat.
How much money was you pouring out of your job and out of everything else? Did you do any flips in there, or was it mostly just all Burr?
No flips, but a couple of wholesales.
Couple
Well, I
of-
had one flip that was very unsuccessful, so I lost money on that. But, so I don't really count
I've
that.
had a couple of those.
Just a couple of wholesale deals that helped, put cash back in the business. But the majority of the cash that I put into real estate was from my W-2 job that I saved up.
Okay.
And then plus, you start getting cash flow, and that kind of snowballs and increases your income
Hmm.
as well.
Wow, that's a lot in a couple years. So are you still buying? Are you still being
So I'm
aggressive?
buying pretty heavily. I bought 5 this last month, so hoping
Okay.
to buy 3 to 5 a month.
Okay. Wow. And you're buying them mostly rent ready, or I know we talked about doing some
Now
construction
now I'm
stuff.
doing pretty big rehabs.
Pretty big rehabs. Okay.
That seems to be the best way to get some equity in deals.
Hmm. Yeah, that's been my strategy. I mean, I've had the construction knowledge and the construction background, so I'd buy those terrible houses from Jackawan. That he was
He
like,
sold me a couple of those. Yeah.
yeah, we buy those terrible houses and then fix them up, and that's
Mhm.
how we were getting this last one. We were getting a 1.5% duplex in Oklahoma City, but
Wow,
we've done
nice.
all the electrical, all the plumbing, all new roof, almost the new kitchens, bathrooms. Everything's brand new in it. But on the bright
Mhm.
side too, one of the reasons I like that business model, and I think you're going to really start liking it once you do it just a little bit, is it's all new.
Right.
So your maintenance drops significantly
Mhm,
if you go in and replace the plumbing and replace the electrical,
Sure.
replace those things. You now have enough experience that you know what breaks. So now you're going to go in there and go fix those things on the front end, and to get those things. A lot of times I feel like a lot of people buy deals, and when they're buying deals, they're deals, but it's deals if you don't factor in the fact that the plumbing's shot and that you're going to have to
Agreed.
get, that needs to be fixed, and now you're going to be replacing that plumbing in 3 or 4 years. It's a deal because I'm not going to replace the roof, which obviously needs to be replaced, but it's not leaking. Yeah, I'm not going to still replace that, but I'm going to put the money aside and be like, in 3 to 5 years, I'm going to have to replace that. So you still have to factor those things in.
Sure thing.
So anyway, when you get into that, really get into those heavy rehabs, to me, they're my favorites because of that. But the other part is that's the biggest add value, but it's also the biggest portion that you can get screwed on as well.
Yeah.
If you're not watching your rehabs and watching construction costs, it's the easiest way to go for budget on a project as well. So
Yeah, I think one of the bigger drawbacks to it is the time it takes to do the big rehabs, right? So if it takes me 3 or 4 months to do a rehab, it slows down my ability to scale quickly. So I try and balance it between bigger and smaller projects, just so I can keep buying houses on a consistent basis and keep growing the portfolio at a good pace.
Yep. One of the things I'll tell you is watch the number game of how many, and make sure that you're doing the percentages. Making sure that you're getting those 60% and 70%, and make sure that you keep your vacancies and those kind of things. Because I have hit my goals and bankrupted myself. Okay, I did that. I'm going to do 52 deals in a year. I did 42, and then I was looking at my bank account and had zero money. Okay, and I had all these rehabs going and stuff. So just watch that when you're going for it. I'm sure you are, but that is one of the biggest things I see in investors when they're like, I'm going to scale. Great. Watch your numbers and make sure that you're doing that. And then we'll scale too, and we'll go buy a unit or a bunch of units, and they'll need sewer lines. And then next thing you know, we end up having to spend $30,000 or $40,000 on 6 sewer lines, or because they always happen in 4s. When you start getting in those numbers, they start happening in, like, you don't have 1 sewer line, you always have 4 sewer lines that go out at a time, and then you'll have nothing for 2 or 3 months, and then 3 breaker boxes. And it's like, what? So that's why I'm now do a lot more rehabs on my properties. But it will slow you down, but it will be beneficial over the long term. 5 more. So you went from 35 to 40 properties this month?
Yep.
That's a big jump. That is a big jump.
Yeah, a lot of wholesalers sending me good deals. So, right now I have the resources to close on them and rehab them. So I figure it's a good time to capitalize on that.
Right now is the best time to buy houses. People are giving them away. I mean, it went from super high in the market, and people are just giving away. I'm watching deals pass through my hands all the time, and I'm in that spot right now where I cannot buy any more houses. We got to finish up everything.
Yeah, I'm kind of capped out right now.
Good. Let me see what else we got here. So you're being aggressive. Do you self-manage, or do you have a property management company?
I self-manage currently, but man, it's a headache. I'm hoping to hire an assistant here pretty soon, a VA, to help handle all of that and really just take phone calls and do all of the low-level admin tasks that I don't want to do anymore.
I found at 40 houses was the max that I could do myself. And grow and be aggressive and manage construction companies and everything else. At 40 houses, I had 45 houses when I looked up, and I had $13,000 in uncollected rent because I hadn't had time to go drop off the eviction notices and go do some stuff. And so that's when I hired somebody, and it was like, oh, hey, everything, all of a sudden all the rents came in and everything started happening. And I did the math. I was like, wow, if I just got somebody to collect all my money, I could actually afford to pay somebody. If everybody just pay their rent. So 40 seems to be like the magic number. For me, as between 40 and 60 is where I feel like the profitability and everything is in property management. So as you're going forward, it's like when they say go buy an apartment building because it has 40, you want to buy a unit that has 40 to 60 doors minimum, and preferably 100, because at that point in time, you can hire a full-time property manager and a full-time maintenance man, which is your 2 biggest expenses in property management. So at this point in time, once you scale up just a little bit more, you can hire yourself a full-time maintenance man too, which then will alleviate probably a lot of when you do sewer cleanouts for $25. Because your
cheaper.
Yeah, when you have your maintenance man go clean out your sewer line, or you have your maintenance man go over there and go do something, and you can just call him, and he's on call all day long, and you can have somebody to go take care of all that stuff for you. Like how much would that take off your plate, and then how much would that save paying somebody $700 to $1,000 a week versus all those little bitty sewer line calls of $100 and this of $200 and that at $300. So
Do you have your own construction crews and a separate maintenance team? Or
yes,
Okay, I see.
yeah, but we have 3 times as much. So, but
Sure.
once I hit 60, we hired a full time maintenance person.
Gotcha.
And so I have two different teams. I have a capex team and I have my maintenance team. So
Okay.
they do make readies and do everything else. Of course, I can bring my capex team over if they need to go run lines or go do something, or something big comes up, somebody comes in, destroys the whole house. I can bring my capex team over, but I have them separate. That's how I have my company set up.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
And did you buy your maintenance team a big fancy snake machine?
uh-huh.
Okay.
Several of them over the years. I bought them a big fancy snake machine. They have all their own individual tools, and then I've bought the bigger, like snakes and cameras and um, those things over the years. But normally, a lot of times we rent them. Like the big heavy duty ones, we just rent those. They're $35 to go rent. And most of the time, our cheap snake can get it. But if we need a
Okay.
big one, we'll go rent one.
Gotcha.
Because
Home Depot or Lowe's?
Home Depot, Lowe's. Yeah.
Okay.
Home Depot, because we get points there.
Got it. Got it.
I think we got like $200 worth of rental rewards right now that we can go get. So if you use the Home Depot card and go set that up with Home Depot, then you can start getting all your perks. I don't know if you're getting your perks through Home Depot.
I go through Lowe's. Joshua Duncan is who I go to.
Yeah.
He's like my rep, and he gets me some pretty good savings there. But
Compare the two, because Home Depot has a lot of stuff and Lowe's has a lot of stuff. Like our Cove heaters, it went from $17,000 to $11,000, and from $18,000 to, I think it was like 16,000. So we saved quite a bit of money going through Home Depot for our Cove heaters, but Lowe's, we go through Lowe's for almost everything else.
gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
you'll figure that. I start just price compare, and the other thing is once you start bring your P&L to Lowe's and show them how much money you spend at Lowe's, and then you can figure out how much you're spending at Home Depot, and you can compare the two.
Got it.
And then you'll
Got it.
start watch your prices start dropping. The biggest problem that most people have, and you're finding this, I'm sure, as you're going forward, is you just don't have enough. You guys, I mean, like when you're doing it all by yourself right now, it's a pain. Like right now, I have no idea who's living in my properties. I know people are. I have no idea what the login to my building account is. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what we're spending per square foot on flooring right now. But my team does, and they're working on those things. And so they just do that, and they report back to me, and then I can make the big decisions. And so you'll have that same thing. Once you hire that person, and you're not over there doing the running back and forth, you go from buying 3 to 4 a month to buying 4 or 5 a month, and having time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'll be a hard transition just because I'm so invested in the small details.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be hard for me to let that go.
How are you getting ready to let those things go?
I don't think I've taken the proper steps just yet, but my goal is to start interviewing VAs and trying to have that set up here soon to pick someone to help run my business, because I plan to move to Thailand in April, so I'll for sure need some assistance.
How many months?
About 2 months. So I'll be there for 6
Okay, buddy,
months,
we need to have a conversation after this.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, dude. Okay? So first off, what are you doing to document your process?
I have a whole bunch of checklists.
Okay.
What are they called? Standard operating procedures, SOPs,
Okay.
of what I do.
All right.
So I plan to pass those onto a VA. So I've been working on that.
Okay, so you do have something that you're gonna pass.
Yeah.
Okay. You said nothing. I was like, okay, you got a mess. Okay.
I should have done more, but that's what I have for right now.
Yeah, I like that, and then doing Loom videos and stuff like that. But yes, if you are 2 months out, you need, because it's going to take you 30 days just to do a ramp up to get somebody to go do your job. So if you plan on leaving in 2 months, you need to be doing interviews. Like when we leave here, you need to be doing stuff. Onlinejobs.ph is probably one of my favorite places to find people in the Philippines. Upwork is a great place that you can find people. They're a little bit more expensive. Typically, you'll work with them a little bit, and then you can hire them out of Upwork and save some money there. They're a really good place to get people. But anywhere you can get some virtual people, I mean, do it. We have 5 people working, or we have 3 people working virtually, and next week we'll have 5 working virtually full time. And
about how much are you paying them, if you don't mind me asking?
Anywhere, it depends on the person. So if they're English, Spanish, it costs extra. So that costs about an extra $100 a week. So that goes from about $2 to $3 to $350. If they're a single language, you can pay them about $200 a week, and just depend. And that's general admin. And then of course, if you have specialty people, like if you want somebody to go, I have a guy who builds out high level stuff. He's $18 an hour, but he's a full data stack engineer, software guy. He can do anything, really anything.
Wow.
And what he doesn't do, he outsources. He has friends that can do stuff, but makes between 18. I have another guy pay about $24 an hour, and only thing he does is the high level stuff on the getting people onboarded in the phone system. I forget what it is, but it's a whole process there. So basically, it's a flat fee. And now I just got him a flat fee of about $150 to go do stuff like that.
Gotcha.
My assistant, I pay her $200. I started off at $180 a week. I just bumped her up to $150 a week now, or $250 a week, and that's what she makes working for me. She's my personal assistant. And then our bilingual lady, she was making 30 something a week. And then we also paid her a $25 commission every. We paid her the application fees for all the tenants. So gave her that bonus. Gave her a $25 basically bonus per adult that she moved into the property.
Gotcha.
That's what we did. So
How often do you let people go and cycle new people in your business, or new hires in your business?
new hires in my business,
Uh-huh.
as few little as possible. It's a big
Okay.
pain in the butt and it's a big expense. Yesterday I came in, I introduced some new SOPs, and we're going to be switching property management systems. And she told me I'm not going to do that right in the middle of the call. And I was like, oh, okay, we need to find somebody else. And then she gave me my 2 weeks notice, and then she quit yesterday. So we're in panic mode right now to hire 2 new people. I was already getting ready to hire another person because that position we went from 100 to 140 doors now. So we sort of grown, and I realized that when I sat down and watched them work, I realized they were working too much. I want lead time. I want gap time between tasks. And so I realized I need to hire another person in office. So I was already getting ready to hire somebody. Now I have to hire 2 people. And so,
Got it.
yeah, but everybody in my company has to be bilingual because 70 to 80% of we're in Southside Oklahoma City, so most of them don't speak English. So everything we do is catered around cash and bilingual.
Gotcha.
So, we have to pay a little bit more, but yeah, anywhere in there. But I'm telling you, for $1,000 a month. And my editor, I want to say, but he doesn't work full time. He runs this and he does 4 videos a month, and I think I pay him like $200 a month or something like that to do the editing. I don't remember what I pay him, but something like that. So anyway, yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, any task that you guys want. My wife said nobody can do my job, and I realized she never left the house. I'm like, what do you mean nobody can do your job? If it can be done on the computer, you can outsource it to somebody else. My for my birthday, they sent me a birthday cake from the Philippines. I was like, I get over there and she's like, did you go to the PO box today? And I was like, no. She goes, go to the PO box, and I didn't realize it was packed in ice and that was going to melt. And so I was like, yeah, I go over there and I open this thing up. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, cool. And it was gluten free even. She knew, she knows my allergies and she knows me. She's worked with me now for, she's been working with me for 2 years now. So she's been great. She's been great. She's grown with me. I've grown with her.
Awesome.
I treat her. The biggest thing I would say when you're hiring VAs is VA doesn't stand for computer program. All right. It stands for a virtual assistant, a virtual human being. And if you treat them like human beings, they will give you so much. They will give you everything, brother. They will bend over backwards. At my assistant makes about, I didn't realize because I gave her $1 raise, but I gave her a raise from making about $60,000 a year to about $76,000 a year when I gave her a raise.
Wow.
So
That's
she
huge.
makes over $70,000 a year in the Philippines working for me, running my companies, doing whatever stuff that needs to be done. Is there a lot of drawbacks? Yes, there is a lot of problems. Is there things that don't work? Absolutely, there's things, and we can talk about how to get around some of those things at some point in time, especially with somebody being overseas. But it's great when you call them. You're like, "What hours do you work? What hours do you need me?" Oh, okay. And I was like, "Well, what do you have? What goes?" It doesn't matter, because my assistant also has a full-time nanny.
Yeah, she can afford one. Making 70
She has
grand
a
year.
full-time housekeeper, and her husband both work for me, or has worked for me. He actually does the high level stuff for me, and so he works for another company. He just, whenever I need him, he'll come do gigs for me. But he works for 2 other companies, and he works for them. That makes really good money, and didn't realize it. But she was showing me one day. She was showing me her outdoor kitchen. She was so excited because they were building this outdoor kitchen, and a year ago they moved into their new house and basically moved into the suburbs.
Wow, nice, nice.
And her mom says, I don't know why you work so hard. All of us have outdoor kitchens, and she's the first person in her family to have an indoor kitchen. It's
Wow.
white tile, floor to ceiling, beautiful, 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 beautiful place. I know she's going to watch this and be like, great job.